Welcome to the Catalyst for Growth podcast, a place where we talk about everything under the sun regarding the journey of the professional salesperson. Welcome the host of the C4G Sales Success podcast, John Kailunas II. Take it away, big guy. Welcome to the Catalyst for Growth podcast, a place where we talk about everything under the sun regarding the journey of the professional salesperson. Welcome the hosts for the C4G Sales Professional Enrichment podcast, Kevin Verwald and John Kailunas II. Take it away, boys.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. This is John Kailunas II, and we have a special guest today on the Catalyst for Growth podcast, and that's Kevin Ross. K. Ross.
How you doing?
Good. Kevin, you and I have been buddies for a long time. When did we first meet?
Gosh, it must be 15, 18 years ago, somewhere in there.
15, 18, yeah. Is that the same number, 15, 18?
In Tennessee, yes, same number.
Okay. Yeah, you'll hear me give Kevin a lot of crap for being from Tennessee, but he's a great guy. I admire Kevin for a lot of his personal traits and some of his business acumen. He's raised a tremendous family with his wife, Jackie, and their personal friends. He lives here in Tampa. We're in the MMG studios today again, sort of our home base here in Tampa, and excited to spend some time and talk about Kevin's business and his niche and how he can help advisors, as well as talk about some of the things that advisors should look for in professional relationships. So, Kevin, why don't you tell us a little bit about your background and how we got here today?
Yeah, so I started out in the securities business in New York, trading institutional bonds, and then they moved me to Atlanta because of my Southern accent. So I talk too slow for the New Yorkers, I guess. But
wait, you don't have a New York accent? All these years, I thought it was a New York accent.
It's a blend. It's a blend. It's my own special blend. But so I got into this business kind of on a temporary basis, thinking I'm going to get back into the bond business, but I didn't want to move to New York at the time. We had 2 young boys and a third one on the way, and my wife didn't want to move to New York, and so I chose family over what I knew as a career. So I started a new one and started in this annuity wholesaling business. And so I've had, 25 years now of working with investment advisors and helping them grow their practice, understanding how their business works, and then where we can fit as an annuity and life wholesaler. So
you sort of come full circle, because when you left the Wall Street, the bond trading firm, you started with a really small IMO.
Exactly.
And then it grew. It got acquired by another one and acquired by another one. Then you worked for a large conglomerate, and then you left, and now you started your own small family IMO type.
Yeah. So the little company that I went to work for, what I thought was just going to be for a year, which ended up being a long time. They did about $20 million of annuity premium in their first year, 0 in life. And as a wholesaler, I did $80 million my first year. So I really kind of plugged into those guys and understood what they were doing. And then we grew that to over $1 billion, and they got acquired. And then I left and went to work for another one, ran their sales team down in Palm Beach. And then as we got acquired, it was time for me to go figure it out. And I tried to not do anything. I can't do not anything. So I started another firm. So we started a firm. We called it Advisor Rescue. And my partner, Tim Stearns, is an actual full-time financial advisor. And so what we did, and why I thought this would be a unique opportunity, is we're actually out there doing it every day as a financial advisor. So we know the pain points, and we're current. So unlike our competition, where they're got a platform or they've got some great seminar package, it gets old quick. Where we're actually making changes on a monthly basis, sometimes on a weekly basis, when something, changes that's big into the marketplace and stuff. And so, and we train to it. That's the other thing.
Yeah, I think that's a huge advantage. And the reason why, if you're going to learn to shoot a gun, I always give this example. You can learn from a manual, or you can learn from somebody who's on the range. Who's actually, I'd rather learn from a Marine sergeant than the book and look at page 9. And I think that's one of the things that you guys do at Advisor Ever. Plug a website, or what do you need to plug right here? This is where you get a shameless plug in.
Yeah. So our direct phone number is 813-736-1940. Our website is advisorrescue.net. So you can look us up there. We also have Facebook, Instagram and LinkedIn. So we're actually in the process of getting recreated, getting some creative people that understand that piece. I understand the financial advisor, that creative social media stuff kind of passed me.
One of the things that I think is important in what we do to help our advisors through Lion Share, and we do it with your firm, is we'll have an annuity marketer. And we do this with several other IMOs. We'll have the annuity marketer. Our internal wholesaler is called an advisor advocate at our firm. And we have the wholesaler and the advisor advocate work on what we call Pro Plan Assist. So we have the advisor bring in three things, and that's a statement, their current statement of their existing accounts. We use nitrogen, which is a risk-based score. And then we use MoneyGuide Pro. And we use Crescendo and Income Solver. And we use all of those, but with a statement, investment, IPS, and a risk tolerance questionnaire, we sit down and work as a team. So the advisor is literally getting the IMO wholesaler. They're getting a CFP from my group and putting together a case, and we're teaching them how to present it. Yeah, it's just so powerful. And I mean, Kevin and I have known each other for so long. We don't fight over the assets. If it's $1 million account and 400 needs to go in the annuity or 100, I don't really care, and you don't either. It's whatever writes for the client.
Exactly.
And so we try to teach advisors that, because sometimes it'll be 400 versus 100 and vice versa. So I think that's real important, because it gives it more of a group process, right? Yep. In not one person is the cornerstone in all good ideas. That's the old Tom Wolfe line from Financial Needs Analysis, showing my age again. But that was a training program that I went to, but it made a lot of sense to me of overcoming objections. And what it allows you to do is get other people's insight. I mean, for many years, used to trade bonds. I've used FIAs as a bond alternative.
Exactly right.
And when bonds were yielding zero, it was always great to have an FIA in there, because I'd really get to beat up on the competition. And we explained that to the client and why it was important and what it did. But we've came up with that story together for individual clients. We've come up with that story for large meetings we've had.
Right.
We've presented in front of hundreds, if not thousands, of people together. And I think that's a huge advantage, that collaborative approach, because there's things that sometimes my team misses or your team misses, or things we didn't pick up, and you can catch it. You give a really positive solution to a client.
Yeah, I think for the advisor, from an advisor perspective, they're getting two experts in the marketplace, and so they don't have to really do the thinking piece. We're doing the back office. You guys are doing a fantastic planning on the back end, which we love. We do that as our own advisors, and we teach our advisors, hey, if you're going to partner and you've got a 65, then let's use Regal, because it's important that to set yourself aside. So there's a financial advisor almost on every corner, it feels like, but most of them are just looking for the quick, easy sell. And I think where we do a good job, and you guys do a good job, together as a team, is we're able to provide knowledge to the advisor so they can pass that on to the client. So the client knows really where they are right now and where they want to get to in retirement. And I think that's a key piece.
I think it's very difficult for one entity to be able to know all the insurance products and all the investment opportunities, and trying to articulate that in a way that an advisor can position it properly with a client or prospect. And so by dividing those duties, you're getting another look at another slice of the pie, but you're also getting another viewpoint of the pie. And I think it's very important as advisors are trying to put together solutions that will stand test of time, help clients get to their end goal, which we manage to absolute performance, versus that transactional broker.
That's right. Exactly right. And I think what happens with so many clients is they've worked with a transactional broker. And so when we do our classes or our workshops, it's the first time that some of these people, that these attendees, have ever heard of longevity risk, or being the risk multiplier and things that their advisor should have been talking to them about as they're in or near retirement. Like we've got to shift from accumulation phase to decumulation phase. And what's the best way to do it? And that's really what we train to is, how to do our system. It's been proven. We continue to tweak it, but the numbers that we're bringing in now are just.
What's your average case size coming in?
So this is crazy. Last 2 weeks ago, Tim had a class. He met in our system. It's more than one meeting. So
let's talk. What's just the average case size real quick? And because the meat to the substance of people listening is exactly what you're getting to.
Okay.
And that's the most important thing.
Okay. So typically, like last week's average, I think Tim had 600,000 of AUM and 500,000 went to annuity for the income solve. And so why that's important is because he's going to do his job or your money managers to grow that risk part of the portfolio. And we've set aside the income piece. So when they're ready to turn that on, and we've discussed when, we've got the perfect income piece. And so it kind of marries together.
All right. So explain the advisor rescue process. How do you get suspects and prospects and clients? How does that work for you?
Yeah. So we have two different avenues that we use. We have a class that we teach that we do at community colleges. Typically, it's about a 2.5 hour class. We did do it. We did 2-hour classes. And what we saw over time was all of a sudden we started getting our attendance levels started dropping. So last year we're like, you know what, let's change it we'll narrow this down. And we went to 2.5 hours and our attendance went up. We're getting really good people because they're paying $49 to attend the class. And that goes to a 503C that gives that money to those that want to go to college that can't afford college. So it's a scholarship fund. Okay. So the advisor doesn't make anything. We're not there. We're just there to get people to buy in. So we're not buying them food like the dinner seminars. They're there to learn. Okay. And
what's your average attendance per seminar?
So we'll get about 10 buying units. So, probably 18 people because some people obviously don't have.
How are you attracting the buying units? Is it email, face? What is it?
Yes. How do we attract them? So for that, we actually do a mailer, a mail piece. And so we narrowed it. That's
physical
right,
mailer?
A physical mailer. And then they've got the address to log in to the community college and then into our outsourced team. And then they go and say, these are the people that are coming. Okay. And then we call out and say, hey, are you still planning on attending? And so we've got the list of people that signed up. Okay. So that's one. That's a little more intensive. And then the second one we started doing was workshops in libraries. That's about an hour. Again, not buying them food. They're coming in. And so what we learned over that is the company we were using, they wanted us to do it at like 1:00. Well, what we found is that at 1:00, a lot of people show up, but a lot of them are like 90 years old, 85 years old. We can't really do anything with them. And they do that by social media. Okay. They're really good about getting people in. We'll get about 30 people. So 15 to 18 buying units in these library classes, but we started doing them at 6:00. So now we're getting back into our demographic of 55 to 70, right? And we talk about Social Security. So everybody can say, oh yeah, we've got that plan. Here's the difference. We're out there doing it. We've got, because we're doing it, we have crafted a kind of a subliminal psychological PowerPoint where people are like, I'm not hearing this. I'm not hearing. We're driving a wedge if they do have a financial advisor from their financial advisor into meeting us. And I think that's the magic piece. And so we'll have from that class, we'll have, 4 to 6 people that want to have an appointment like tomorrow. And obviously can't do that, but we train on, okay, here's what we do. And then you want to talk about the process after that? Okay.
Yeah, let's talk about the process. We've got several of our podcasts, as you know, Kevin, C4G, we're all about the process. We build processes for our advisors. Tell us a little bit about your process.
Yeah. So what we do, and I think this is, a best practice, is the first meeting. and we talk about it in the classes of what happens next. We're going to get their financial statements. We're going to see where they're at right now, and then we'll do a risk assessment like you guys do. Same thing, or if we're working with you,
nitrogen.
We'll do nitrogen, and so we get them a score, right? And then we also have them fill out the questionnaire. We say, well, your score is an 80 something, but you really are.
They very rarely match.
And so it's like, okay, so where can we make the changes? And the other thing we do is like with you guys is the correlation of assets, right? And how many times? Well, I think I've got 7 mutual funds in my 401k that I just retired from, and all of a sudden, yeah, but you've got 20% of it's in Facebook and Google.
You used to see that all the times with American funds back in the day.
Exactly.
They all had every fund had General Electric in it.
Exactly.
And so you ended up having a very large position at General Electric as you're spreading it out through
all
of the
thinking you were
American
diversified.
funds. You didn't have a clue until you started looking at the individual holdings. But that's something that we do, our staff in that Pro Plan Assist process. And we use nitrogen for that risk score. We use Money Guide Pro. We use Crescendo for any gift planning stuff.
Right.
And then the secret sauce that we use is Income Solver. Because that one section that talks about the distribution of assets, and then it has advisor alpha in there, what the advisor saved you by what you suggested, or in taxes and in fees and all that. I mean, that just closes the door on starting a profitable relationship with a prospect.
Exactly, and I think that's like you said, that's the magic sauce. That's the
magic sauce.
Isn't that what you said?
No, secret sauce.
Secret sauce.
Magic bullet secret sauce.
Okay.
Magic sauce doesn't sound good.
Hey, I'm starting something new. But that's kind of that wedge build. Now you're giving them, so that first meeting, all you're doing in that first meeting is you're acquiring that information, right? And then that second meet. So what we do after we get that is we're working with you guys and saying, hey, here's what here's all this stuff that this client's got. This is what they tell us they want to do. And so we run that score like we talked about. That second meeting's key, because that second meeting we trained to, this is how you present it. There's a lot of information in that, right? And so many times, especially if you get the guy that used to be an engineer, now he's a financial planner, they love that stuff. But the average client doesn't want to hear it. They don't want to hear it. They just want to know, okay, where am I? And then how do I get to where I don't have to worry about my money.
I think advisors try to, they don't educate on the proper things, which is getting people to their goals and the absolute performance to get there. Yeah. They're so wrapped up in my S&P 500 is better than yours, or I can beat your current. That's just the wrong approach.
Right.
That is not a best practice. It doesn't help the client. Clients want to know if they can retire. They don't want to live in their kid's basement. They want to know if they can do the things that they want in retirement.
Right.
And I think your process does it, because I know Tim and I know you and how you train. And I think we spend a huge amount of time and energy in our firm training advisors. Well, that's really why we have Catalyst for Growth, right?
Yeah, exactly.
It's because we started training outside advisors, and with our masterclass studium that people can sign up for. You can go to the website. A little plug there for Catalyst for Growth.
Yeah, there you go.
But yeah, we're seeing that there are a lot of people, especially in the independent space, that have the greatest of intentions as advisors,
right? But
their execution isn't as tight as it used to be. And you and I come from old school firms where they trained you like with a whip and a stick. There was
no mercy.
There was no carrot. It was all stick.
Yeah.
I remember in the old days, I was just telling my son this, that they'd get a banker's box when you were going to take your test. And if you didn't pass your test, all your stuff would be in the banker's box.
Exactly.
Now they let these kids take tests 3-4 times.
Yeah, it's okay.
It's okay. It's tough.
Yeah.
Now it's like, you're unemployed. Get out of here. You bum.
Yeah.
You bum. Here's your box.
Yeah.
So
that's why you went to a state school and not the big school, because you couldn't get into the big school. I heard that stuff all the time in New York. So,
well, we talked a little bit about the advisor rescue. Why? Let's sort of finish this segment up, and then on the other side of the break, what we're going to talk about is how you view partnerships with RAs and broker dealers. I think the advisors themselves are selling them short by the relationships they have, because they want marketing money or leads, and that's what they equivalate as a partnership. It's much deeper than that. I want to talk about that the other side of the break. Fair enough?
Great. Fair enough. Let's do it.
Thank you.
Every player has a great coach. Contact C4G at info@catalystforgrowth.org, 813-454-0557, and talk about your goals and the plan we will hold you accountable to.
All right, welcome back to Catalyst for Growth, a podcast that is helping you get better personally and professionally as an advisor. These are free. We put them on. We've trained hundreds of agents, thousands of agents, advisors, and we want to make sure that we're giving back to the community and helping people. There's a lot of information out there being produced by people that don't do the job. And I think that it's incredibly dangerous. And I think that's why we get away from best practices, is because the people training best practices have never practiced. So we got Kevin Ross here. Kevin and I are all longtime friends. He owns a firm called Advisor Rescue. And I want to talk to Kevin on this side of the break regarding the importance of having a partnership with an RIA, having a partnership with an IMO. It's more than just leads or what my payout is. And I think transactional brokers, and we've dealt with hundreds, if not thousands of them, Kevin, over time. You and we used to recruit together, and it's like, what's a payout? And you're missing the whole point. The payouts, we don't lose deals, you or I do, to economics.
That's right.
What we're trying to do is help people with the right fit, because they're going to know Jackie, they're going to know your boys, they're going to know Courtney and Trey and my wife. They become a family, and it's more about that. It's helping people grow and giving back. We've been fortunate enough to have mentors in our lives,
That's right.
And this industry is short of mentors and is short of leaders of personal development, not the Tony Robbins type, but how do you run a practice? How do you run it like a business? I think those are things that should be coming from IMOs. Those should be coming from RAs or broker dealers, and they're not, because the people that they have, quote unquote, business development have never owned a business.
Never done it.
And it's just crazy to me that, I'm going to go climb a mountain. I'm going to go climb Mount Everest, but I'm going to learn from someone who's never climbed Mount Everest. It's just asinine to me. And the whole business is set up that way. It's like, at best, they were failed brokers that were put in the business development. And I'm not shaming anybody in business development. It's just that you need to be legitimate.
Right. You need to have done it. And that's the other reason why we, Tim and I sat down and said, let's start a marketing company. That's where my expertise is in. But having been there doing what the advisor's doing, being in their shoes, that's a different perspective, as opposed to 95% of the wholesalers out there have never done it. They're just there to pitch a product. They really could care less about, and hoping you don't put any money, assets under management, or anything with the broker dealer, trying to put the whole $1 million into that annuity because that's how they get paid. And it's not the right way. I mean, if you're going to do it the right way and you want to have longevity in this business, I think you've got to be able to understand where that advisor is, how they're building their practice, how to help them grow their practice, but doing it in the right way. And the right way is not by, let's put all of it into annuity, or let's put all of it into risk portfolio. Let's do what the client needs, right? Instead of let's do what's best for me. And I think that's where we separate ourselves from the competition. Because look, I've been doing this for 20 something years, and I saw a lot of wholesalers that were doing it what was best for them and not really what was best for the client, which is, again, something I'm passionate about. Was a mentor. I want to make sure that people are doing it the right way and they're treating the advisor right, therefore treating their advisor's clients right.
If you would like to be a guest on the C4G podcast, please contact us at info@catalystforgrowth.org or 813-454-0557. Primetime players only. Bring your A game or don't contact us.
So with that being said, if I'm out shopping IMOs right now, and there's 100 of them, why do I select Advisor Rescue? What makes it different than going to one of the big ones that are, sending me an email and promise me top industry payouts and leads?
Right. And they're going to woo you with whatever their new magic bullet is right now. But I think where we're different is that we're actually out there doing it, and we have a better understanding than our competition of what it's like. And so many of our competition, they've got some big producer that they've paid extra. But a big producer doesn't, they buy off on it because they don't understand our side of the business. And then they find out that, wait, it's a lot of work. And now I've got to talk to these advisors. I don't want to talk to the advisors. I want to just do my practice. And so all of a sudden there's this disconnect. I saw it happen.
Well, I've seen it too. And I can actually think of scenarios that both you and I know.
Exactly. And it becomes a big waste of time. So what happens is management tells the wholesalers, the marketers, hey, get your guys on this call. We've got the latest, greatest guys. They're the best. And what you find out is you've got a guy with a huge ego that you get to hear about, but they're not taking any best practices away because those guys don't really understand how to talk to somebody that's a $2 or $3 million producer and they're doing 20. They don't understand that difference. They forgot how they got there. And of course, the marketer from the annuity side, they have no input or insight because they've never done it. They've never sat in that advisor's shoe. Or we've said, yeah, we remember when it was a couple million and how hard it was to get to 4 and then, to 8. And now it's like, I mean, gosh, 2 weeks ago, Tim, from the classes, 11 million, 6 million, 7 million in AUM and 5 million in annuity premium. So
it works. It
works.
And we'll talk about Tim at a later date, but he's a fascinating individual, really high energy, really bright guy, is a very good producer, cares about his clients, cares about his business footprint. He's a good guy, and we do a little bit of work with him. He gets it, and that he's willing to share with others, legitimately share, is pretty powerful. And I think that's your secret sauce.
Yep, exactly right. I mean, if I was starting out, or even if I've been in it for 5-10 years, I'm trying to get to that next level.
If you're plateaued.
I can't get over 7 or 8 million. Tim was there at one point. And so we worked on, hey, this is what it takes to get to the next level. And then when we said, let's start this, and then I took the PowerPoints and he and I sat down with his group and we just tore this thing up and really did a psychology of selling type piece where it was driving in and it's a winning formula. It's our secret sauce, our magic bullet, or like I say, magic sauce.
You're a mess, Ross. What type of advisor you're looking for at Advisor Rescue? And again, you don't have an RIA, you don't have a broker dealer, you're an IMO.
Yep.
So if somebody's looking for an IMO, what's a perfect match for you?
So we want someone that's got some annuity experience. They know how to sell it. They're looking to get and grow their business, and they're coachable. They're wanting a process. And if they're willing to follow, hey, this is how we do our presentation. We teach how to do the presentation. We've got workshops where they're able to see what we're doing. And then also they have access to Tim and I. So it's not like, oh, you can't talk to this guy, he's too big. We're going to sit there and teach you because we know if you do it and follow the steps, you're going to have success. And we also understand that you can't go from 4 million to 20 million because it takes money, right? You got to get in front of these people. But our return on investment because of what we do and how we do it versus the seminar guy is night and day.
It's got to be phenomenal.
Yep.
Because you don't have the overhead.
That's right.
You've got a very low cost public, a community college or a public library. You're not serving food.
That's right.
You're serving information. Your marketing costs going out are probably 80 to 90% of your cost in this.
That's right. And so Tim's done, and I've done seminars where we're paying for the food, right? The people treat you so differently when you're buying a mistake. There's very little respect for that advisor because they're there to eat their free meal, and if they can, they brought their friends, so they're having a night out on the advisor. Where the people that are coming to ours, whether they're coming to the community college or they're coming to the workshop at the library, they're vested in it. They want to learn, and you become the professor, right? Instead of the guy that's buying the dinner, you're now the professor. You're the expert, and we teach you how to be that expert in the room and how to ask for, hey, this next step is bring your stuff in, and we'll have that.
I think what Tim is very good is transitions. because he's so highly intelligent. He's got a good emotional intelligence that he can view and understand the room, and he transcends between those lines very smoothly.
Yep.
And he engages the audience and brings them in, and those are all skills that can be taught.
That's right.
David Christie, you know really well. David's a mutual friend of ours. He's done a couple of these podcasts with us. He does the whole thing of teaching advisors to do that, and you need to check those things out. David Christie, he's on the C4G platform, C4G for growth, for the number 4 growth.org, and you can go there and listen to his episodes. But Tim does it naturally. He's got a God-given ability.
That's right.
And then he morphs that with a sense of humor and everything, and he does a real nice job. He can be intimidating at times, and then when you hear him talk, you know that he's really authentic,
right?
And that just makes him special.
And you know what? The other thing too that we tell people that are starting our program, you're not going to be the expert. You're not going to be perfect on the first one. The way you get perfect is by doing them over and over and over, where it just becomes second nature. Just like when you're having a conversation with someone, when you do that enough, it's just natural as opposed to fumbling through. And so we teach that. We do a Monday morning quarterback after a rep does a workshop or does the class, and hey, what went right, what went wrong. If they have the ability to film, in a lot of the college classes, they've got it. In the libraries, you've got to set up a little tripod with your iPhone. Works perfect. But if we see that, we can coach to that as well. And so we encourage that kind of stuff because that's how we help you get better.
All right. So once again, what's your contact information?
Yeah. So it's Advisor Rescue. The website's advisorrescue.net. And our phone number is 813-736-1940.
We'll get it posted in the notes of the podcast.
Oh, great.
So, Kevin, I think this is the longest you and I have ever talked without either a cigar or a glass of bourbon.
It's 100% the longest ever. And we've known each other for 15, 18 years.
Was it good for you or no?
Well, I missed the cigar and the bourbon.
It wasn't good for me. I definitely missed the cigar and bourbon. I always ask a question at the end that's a little bit different and off topic. And the question I've got for you today, is there someone you would like to show or express your appreciation to today that you haven't done in the industry too?
Oh, I thought it was anybody. So
it could be anybody.
Well, I want to say, first, my wife, Jackie, she's been there, and, her story is a unique story. She's a fighter, and I'm just blessed that she's in there.
She's a great lady.
She's been the glue that's held us together. She showed me what compassion looks like, because I didn't have much of it before I met her. And, we've been together for 30 plus years. So shout out to her. I mean, I am who I am because of her. And then in the industry, my former boss, Steve Bates, that ran our IMO, and he and I grew this thing. He taught me a lot about leadership. And I take some of those lessons and those conversations that we've had over the time, personally, and I've shared those with others.
Yeah, Steve Bates is a special guy. I have a good friendship with him, and used to work with him every day, and he's gone on to bigger and better things. But I really miss him. He's a good man, and hell of a father and husband, and he's good people.
Yep.
All right, well, Kevin, once again, it's time for us to probably go grab a cigar and a bourbon. So for all those of you that are listening, we'll drop another episode next week. We drop them on Wednesdays on any of your podcast platforms, Apple, Spotify, all of those. And we've got those all available for you. You can go back and listen to the first episode with Kevin Burwell and I, and then there's episodes in there with my son, Trey, him.
Oh, yeah.
Leadership, some episodes there. So there's a lot of great stuff here, and these are meant for you to get better, to grab a couple, nuggets from Kevin today, apply them in your practice. If you need help with an IMO, give him a call. Kevin will tell you point blank, he's an honest and authentic person. He'll tell you if he can help you or he can't. He won't waste your time. If you need help on the security side, you can give Don Carlson a call at 616-224-2204 at Regal there, and he'll be happy to help you. But appreciate all of you listening. Next week, we'll drop another episode. And until then, make it a great and profitable day.
Thank you, John. It's great being here.
Bye, Kev.
Hey, thank you for your time today. We will have another content-packed session posted next week. Please check our website, catalystforgrowth.org, for our legal disclosures on the bottom of our homepage, if you're into that sort of thing. Hey, thank you for your time today. We will have another content-packed session posted next week. Please check our website, catalystforgrowth.org, for our legal disclosures on the bottom of our homepage, if you're into that sort of thing.